race about to get underway. Red lights go on and out they go, and away they go up towards Rich's Corner for the first time. Then I think we've got 18 Austin Sevens on this grid, pulling away and heading up towards Rich's Corner for the first time. It looks like it's Timothy Roebuck. That's in the John Miles car that's leading the way there. Charlie Plain James, you can see there, number 22, going through 69. That's the car being driven by Hugo Pickup, who was successful yesterday in the historic 750 Formula handicap race that we had at the end of yesterday's race. But it's number 18, Timothy Roebuck, that is leading then, and that is from the number 11 car of James Miles in second place, I think. There you can see Thomas Embden, number 9, going through shot in his Sportsman. And one or two of those sportsmen, I think, on the grid today. But certainly great fun, this Austin Seven Centenary Race, and good to see not only some of the regulars from the historic 750 Formula Series, but some guest drivers taking part as well.
Yeah, that's right, Ian, and it's amazing to think, isn't it? Something that was originally designed 100 years ago is still racing today around the country, and particularly today at Snetterton. And great to have so many enthusiasts here with a big range of ages of drivers as well, aren't there? Some young drivers out there as well as drivers with more life experience. And as you say, really obvious to see the different types of Austin Sevens. You've got some of the single-seaters out there and some of perhaps the more earlier production cars. The grid might not quite resemble everything the pace the cars can do, because it was very wet this morning.
It was.
And particularly in these cars, obviously, drivers taking quite a lot of cautions. The fastest lap in qualifying, for example, was a 3 minutes 18, went over a minute slower with some cars towards the back. So there'll be drivers making their way through. And there's some cars that are coming out this weekend that haven't raced for a very long time. And there's even cars that were being worked on yesterday, last night, to get them ready to go racing today. So lots of effort being put on by the grid here. And like I say, a good number, 18 cars come here to Snetterton. Circuit that's changed a lot over the years. When Austin Seven raced here back in the 1950s, a very different circuit to what we have today. And
certainly different to what it would have been in 1980 when Ken Cook earned his Driver of the Day award as well. Yeah. So we're watching them as they head through Brundle and Nelson for the first time in this race. And we can see some battling going on down the order as they come through Nelson and towards the bomb hole for the first time. That's the number 5 car you can see of Michael Harvey. Now he started on row 7 of the grid, so I think he's made up some places. He's there in the Austin 7 also, the driver from Milton Keynes. Already though, the race leader Timothy Roebuck has completed the first lap of the race. That is the car of number 12, Ben Mile. That was the car that was that stalled on the grid, I think, and needed to push back into position, but it's good to see Ben Mile out in the race. Another driver that we've seen in other cars in historic 750 Formula over the seasons as well. Timothy Roebuck's lead at the end of the first lap is 4.5 seconds. That's over the number 61 car in second place of Simon Gallen, number 11 James Miles in third place. But problems there for number 92, I'm afraid, and that's Pete Shepherd heading into the pits. Yes,
that's a real shame, isn't it? One car to the pit lane early on. Sun comes out for the Austin Sevens.
It does.
Anyone expected that today? So there is Roebuck, who's been successful in the historic 750 Formula Series races, particularly in the Austin 7 class. He won both races at Pembrey, for example, last month. And is he being caught, though, by Simon Gallen?
No, I think he is, you know, because it was 4.5 seconds at the end of the first lap. So Simon Gallen, who's retired, he's from Stamford in Lincolnshire, and he started racing in 2018 in historic 750 Formula in this Austin 7 Pigsty Special. He's chasing after the race leader, Timothy Roebuck, isn't he? So this is a great charge from Simon then to try to catch the race leader. These are both in the supercharged Austin 7 cars. The majority of them are not supercharged, but these two right together now, the leaders, aren't they?
Very different cars as well, because the Gallen car is a single-seater sort of monoposto type car. As you say, though, he's caught quite a lot quickly as Simon Gallen, who was the winner of the class at Alton Park in the historic 750 Formula race, and he's taken the lead down the Bentley Straight. He's accelerated past Tim Roebuck, who's dropped that position then. and we'll see if he's got anything to fight back now that Gallen is ahead as they turn their way through the S's. And it was around here where the old circuit rejoins. They used to go down the Norwich Straight and then basically on the road into the circuit, brought you back to where the cars are going through now, where Ken Cook would have raced back in 1980, 40 years ago.
And here we see this is Thomas Ebbington involved here, I think, is it not? In the number 9, he's just behind number 26, Mike Whitby, in the Austin 7 Mason Special. So that's for 10th and 11th. And number 13, I'm afraid, is out of the race. Now that's Ben Bolt. And where was he at the end of the first lap? He was in 15th position. His car was known as the Silver Special, and it's the first car he ever raced in the early 1960s. His mother raced the car in 1964 and 1965, and the car was last raced in 1965, not having turned the wheel on track since then. Before today, it was being kept in storage until it was in a fit state to race again. It was brought back into that condition with the help of Ambrose Butcher, so sadly its return to racing didn't last more than a lap, but hopefully it won't be the last time we see that car out.
Pretty much free abreast there, wasn't it, as Mike Whitby who's gaining a place on Tom Emden, and Emden might lose a couple of positions here as they go up towards Coram. I think he has. And is that David Lewis possibly coming through in 99, or trying to come through anyway?
Yeah. Yes, Lewis was 12th at the beginning of the lap, but he's getting ahead of Emden there, around the outside into Murray's. Yep, he's made that move stick, I think, so that's number 9, a nice big bold number on the side of that car, isn't it, for David Lewis. He makes up the position in the Austin 7 Special, and of course it was probably after the war, really, that many Austin 7s were rebuilt as specials, including the first race car built by Bruce McLaren. The first Lotus, the Mark 1, was derived, I think, from an Austin 7 as well. So they've really been quite instrumental in some pretty significant developments in motoring and motorsport history.
And this is the battle for the non-supercharged cars, because Charlie Plain Jones, who couldn't keep up with Richard Verheyden yesterday, have got themselves together as they turn their way down towards Agostinian.
Thomas Ebbington out of the race, I'm afraid. He's just pulled into the pit lane in that number 9 car. We saw him involved in that battle with David Lewis a moment ago, but he's now out of the race.
And the Austin 7 shape as well, that took pay in people at my age, it's childhood, because Brum, the children's TV programme, that used the Austin 7 type car, didn't it?
Yeah. And the car had a number of different body styles as well. There were Tourers, there were saloons, cabriolets, sports cars. Obviously we've got the Austin 7 single-seaters as well, designed for racing. There was Austin 7 vans built, and certainly the annual Austin 7 Rally at Bewley has a different theme each year, and it will be usually to celebrate some of those different body shapes or some other theme. But good to see that with a big programme of Austin 7 Centenary events being planned this year. We've got this race here at Snetterton, organised by the 750 Motor Club, and well supported it is too, and quite entertaining as well. As you say, there's a good little battle here between these two, involving Charlie Plain Jones, number 22, but also Richard Verheyden there, who is, 45 years of age. He's involved in aircraft maintenance. He has done some historic Formula Ford 1600 racing, as well as historic 750 Formula. He travels from Eastern France for each race. He says racing with the 750 Motor Club is worth the trip. His car, which has just got the lead of the non-supercharged class, by the way, from Charlie Plain Jones as they headed into Coram, is a 1934 Bad Frog with its Austin side valve engine putting out a mighty 25 brake horsepower.
Good lap times for that amount of power, isn't it? Because Richard Verheyden's doing sub 3 minutes during the course of this race, and he's just past Charlie Plain Jones to take the lead of the class as they come.
That's not going to last. It's not going to last. Charlie Plain Jones has got it back again as they came over the line. It's a very entertaining scrap between these two.
Tim Roebuck hasn't come through. The driver who was in second place, who led early on, has not completed lap 3 of this race.
So Simon Gallen now 23 seconds clear in number 61 of James Miles, number 11 in second place. And that means the battle that you can see on screen is now the battle for the final podium position overall as well. Charlie Plain Jones back into third place and back into the Class A lead, ahead of Richard Verheyden and Hugo Pickup, who confounded the handicap system yesterday in a historic 750 Formula handicap race. He's up into 5th place, and then Ben Mile is a rather distant 6th in car number 12 now.
So this battle is going to continue on, isn't it, between these two? hopefully Charlie Plain Jones perhaps learned a few things yesterday to get this car to go quicker around here so he could take it to Richard Verheyden, which he couldn't do in the historic 750 Formula races that we saw yesterday. So these two cars make their way down into the Agostini hairpin. Really narrow tyres, of course, on these pre-war cars. Such a different type of way to go motor racing compared to what else we see at this meeting. And Charlie Plain Jones, then, who's been racing this car, hasn't he? And in this type of racing, in historic 750 Formula, 750 Trophy before that for a long time.
Absolutely right. So Charlie Plain Jones, number 22, heading around Oggies. I think he thought he might be on too wide a line, though. He was concerned, I reckon, that Richard Verheyden was going to sneak back up the inside on the way to Williams, but it wasn't to be. Verheyden tried to drive all the way around the outside of him, though, at Williams instead, and he's done it. Fantastic move that from Richard Verheyden in car number 6. Plain Jones, I think, has a quicker car in a straight line, though. We saw that on the centre straight as well, and he's going to try and out-drag Verheyden all the way up the Bentley straight. There you can see the second place car, number 11, James Miles, going through shot. He's about 10 seconds or so ahead of these two, and it is Charlie Plain Jones that's got back into third, because although Verheyden made that good move around the outside in a straight line, he can't cope with the pace of Charlie Plain Jones.
But through the bend, he's pretty fast, isn't he? And he tried to fight back here at the end of the lap, which is a little bit more twisty than what some of the rest of the Snetterton circuit did. So let's see if Verheyden can do what he did a lap ago, really. Here he comes up the inside into Coram Curve, and he flies past. A great move into third position.
Car number 7 is expiring. That's Graham Wilson. The green car is just beneath us, pulling off. He's going to try and pull off, I think, onto the left-hand side of the circuit.
And that was the car that was being sort of put together last night, ready to return to racing. Unfortunately, hasn't quite lasted the full race, but great to have that car returning to racing today.
So we've got 3 minutes off this race left.
I think that's the last lap board that's being shown.
Yes, I think you're right. Last lap board is being shown now.
Hopefully Charlie Plain Jones got back ahead of Richard Verheyden before the yellow flags there.
Yes, well, he certainly is. Now there you can see Graham Wilson just getting out of his car, which is obscured by the corner marker boards, but the car is there, I can assure you. That's the car of number 75, Mike Peck, another long-time 750 Motor Club member and race the driver from Westerham. He is running in 12th position as things stand at the moment. Simon Gallen now leading this race by more than half a minute from the rest of them. And there, I think that's James Miles in second place, I think, isn't it, that we're just picking up now. And he's been racing historic 750 Formula since 2017. He built this car from the ground up from a 1936 chassis. As we switch our attentions to the race leader, though, that's number 61, Simon Gallen, already out of Williams there and on to the Bentley straight for what we think then is going to be the final time in this race.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? And that kind of makes sense, because it's going to be pretty much 15 minutes when he gets to the end. But it's really that battle for Class A, for the non-supercharged cars, which could be contested right to the end, because we know Verheyden's got the cornering ability, but Charlie Plain Jones is quicker down the straight, so he can almost have a photo finish there. Although we've got the yellow flag just before the finish line. But for Simon Gallen, he's half a minute ahead of everybody else in this monoposto. So really a racing car, isn't it, this version of the Austin 7, so it really makes sense for this car to be the one that's leading the race.
Yeah, so Simon Gallen then, it is that's out in front. Good drive from him, had to get the better of Timothy Roebuck in the early stages. Roebuck sadly has gone into retirement since then, but he's out of the final corner. Well, as just off goes number 26, which is Mike Whitby. He was in the top 10, but here is the race leader about to become race victor. That is number 61 then. Simon Gallen takes the checkered flag in this special Austin 7 Centenary Race. It's going to be a very convincing victory for him. His best lap time of 2:46.35, and that's about 10 seconds faster than anybody else that's going to finish the race, about 7 seconds faster than Roebuck managed in the early stages. There are some back markers coming through as well, but is this the second place car coming through now. Now that's one of the back markers coming through. That's number 60, which is Clive Neal's.
And
Austin
here,
7.
side by side for the Class A lead out of Murray's, Richard Verheyden, I think, had quite an aggressive move up the inside. Charlie Blaine-Jones had to almost go onto the grass to avoid him.
As James Miles just there takes the checkered flag in second position. We've lost number 77, William Kirk, towards the end as well in his Austin 7 monoposto. But there is the battle for third, and it's Charlie Blaine-Jones that gets the better of Richard Verheyden, also winning Class A then. Verheyden takes fourth position. Fifth place, that's going to go the way of number 69, Hugo Pickup. And then quite a bit further back, I think, is going to be Ben Mile in sixth place. Number 12. Obviously, we did lose quite a few cars during the course of that race, unfortunately, including some to the pit lane, some stopping out on circuit. So Pete Shepherd, Ben Bolt, Tom Emden, Timothy Roebuck, Graham Wilson and William Kirk, all I think have failed to make it to the checkered flag. That's, I think, Ben Mile that's just gone through, and he gave a wave there to Graham Wilson as he went past Wilson's stricken car. So Ben Mile, number 12, completes the top 6 in that Austin 7 Centenary Race, which was a fitting way of marking the 100 years of the Austin 7, particularly given its links for more than 80 of those years with the 750 Motor Cup. Good little scrap for the final positions, just coming through Brundle and Nelson. And is this number 99 that's going to make a couple of places on the final lap, possibly, which would be David Lewis, wouldn't it? Is he going to get up into 7th place? I think he might be, although the treble 5 car of Matthew Edwards fighting back, the monoposto much quicker in a straight line, it would seem. So he's going to come through, Matthew Edwards, to take 7th position. 8th place goes the way of number 99, David Lewis. 9th place goes the way of number 5, Michael Harvey. And I think Mike Whitby's going to complete the top 10, although we did see him in strife on that final lap of the race. But that was an entertaining little race for the Austin 7 Centenary, Josh.
Yeah, and despite some cars retiring, like you say, everybody started who entered, so that's great, isn't it? Because quite a few of them had 2 races yesterday, so
that's right.
It's a busy couple of days, really, for these Austin 7s. And it's not just on circuit that they have competition, is it? Because the trials, I think some 50 mile clubs have organised some of those. Austin 7s are a big part of those as well. So a versatile car. And already our top 3 have made their way down to Parc Ferme, where Kieran McGinley will chat firstly to our race winner.
Well, twice in a row now, these drivers have avoided the rain. It's just started spitting again in Parc Ferme. However, that's not going to put a smile off the face of our race winner here in Simon Gallen. Simon, winner by more than half a minute, but I suppose this race is more about the cars. But how did you find out there?
It was a joy just to have the car running, because I spent most of yesterday actually taking it apart and putting it back together. So to have a good race today was great. I don't know what happened to Tim Roebuck, because he's normally the one who prays for rain. And he's not come in yet, so I hope he's okay. But yeah, great time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is starting to come down a little bit more now. Was that something?
That's fine, yeah. The prayers have worked.
Yeah, just a little bit too late, but that's good for you, right?
That's all right, that's great for us, yeah. These tyres don't like the wet.
Well, talk to us just a slight bit about your car then, because it looked like it really was good today.
It's excellent. It's a pigsty special. It's one of Alex Miles, and I love driving it because it tells you everything you need to know. When it starts to go, it goes gradually, so you've got time to do something about it, if you're quick enough. And it's just a joy to drive. I drive better in that car than I would do normally.
Well, Simon, congratulations on the victory today, and go and enjoy the victory. Get yourself out of this rain.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. All right.
Let's see if we can chat to our second place driver, James Miles. James, good to see you back here again. Second place in the Centenary race. How did you find that?
It was hard work, but great fun, really good fun. So that's my two second places in the last 3 weeks on 2 Centenary races. So I have to wait another 100 years for a first. But apart from that, it was really good. At least it stayed dry. We could actually use some power. So qualifying was very difficult, but second place is fantastic. Simon's got a bit more power than I, so there we go.
Yeah, the gap was more than half a minute towards the end there.
I had a safe second, so I could see Charlie in the wing mirrors, but I knew he wasn't going to catch me. So I won't say that in front of him, but yeah, great result, great day. Thank you very much, 750.
Fantastic. And thank you very much as well for the interview.
Great. Indeed, thank you.
Enjoy your second place. And let's see. Oh, we've not got time, so unfortunately, let's throw it on to the next race, which is the Calm All Porsche Trophy.